Hello everyone and welcome to another video following my run through the 2025 online War of the Ring tournament. This is the second game in the round of 32 against opponent JZW27. My last game was my run as the Free People, so this will be my run as the Shadow Player. If I win this, we go to a tie break. If I don't, I'm out of the tournament. So, tournament life on the line. Let's see how this one goes. One thing I was thinking about going into this game is the discussion that is often had in the strategy sections of the Discord about allocating 0 eyes on the first round versus allocating 1 eye. I'm not going to go into the full everything, I think, here in this video about that, but I was thinking about it, and I had noted then that my opponent went 0 eyes last round and how that worked for him. In this game, I decided to go 1 eye. I wanted to do a bit slower, not quite so much a military sprint, I guess. I do have Breaking of the Fellowship, which maybe could be good early, and I have Rage of the Dunlendings. Something I obviously didn't know at the time, but what is nice to know now is that he had Danes. Dane Ironfoot's guard, and we prove the Swifter, the Dane being the important thing there, to help reinforce the dew line. So that'll be interesting as the game moves on. So I allocate 1 eye, and then I roll 2 musters at least, but not a single movement. Versus 1 movement, a Palantir with a card he wants to play, and 2 musters. What an awful start for me. I mean, can't complain too hard. Two musters for Saruman. This turn would be so much worse without 2 musters. He plays Danes and draws into Red Arrow, so a Scouts. Pretty good. Honestly, the Red Arrow is not terrible either. These cards are unplayable, so I draw into a character card. Excuse me. I feel since this is such a slow start, I'm going to be looking for some corruption things. I draw into Morgul Wound, which could be very good early. Interesting, you do the dual moves. Just concerned about not having the time for them later. Even though you're holding Red Arrow, I guess you're just allocating that to be a Scouts in your head. That makes sense. I get Saruman. Fellowship moves. And it's hit. So, good. Good for me. Looking for a reveal here. Like a 0 reveal would be great, a 1 reveal even. And it's a standard one, which is annoying because then I can't play Morgul Wound or Breaking for their effect. A 0 reveal would have been fantastic. Then I could Morgul Wound and Breaking for effect in Fords. But it's just a 1. Now, as the Free People here, the Shadow has gotten off to a slow start. They did put Saruman in. Do you take Gandalf to a 1 no reveal? Something to think about. My opponent does, which is interesting. I'm not sure it's wrong. I'm not sure it's right. I do know it feels bad. So, okay. So I draw a strategy card. I guess the thought process there was I have enough things I'm going to want to dogpile the Fellowship with if they get revealed. So I'm going to switch over to drawing something for hopefully jumpstarting my military. That feels like a kind of wacky decision on my part because I don't have any of the things that would help reveal into Moria or the Balrog. So maybe I should just dig for more characters yet. Not sure. And he moves the elves towards war. And then I think for a bit, because I still don't have a playable card. So I guess I was looking for the strategy card to be that with my last Palantir. But I draw back into a character card. I get Worn with Sorrow and Toil, so that's pretty good to see. Pretty stacked hand, though, so I don't know what's going to get discarded. Depends, obviously, on the draw. I get Denethor's Folly and Isildur's Bane. The way this game is going, I feel very confident in saying that Denethor's Folly is the worst one here. Rage, maybe, but I like saving Rage for a Rivendell Snipe or a Shire attack. He gets Riders of Theoden and Challenge of the King. Yeah, I know why the half move from Meteros to Westamnet makes sense, but it always feels bad when you have like Red Arrow and Theoden, Riders of Theoden, and it's super inefficient to play them now that you've half moved out their army. So a throwaway Denethor's Folly. Okay, past self agrees with current self. That's how you know we're both wrong. I allocate 1 eye. With this slow of a start, I think I can't afford to allocate 2. And I roll 3 more. So round 2, I have yet to roll a hybrid or an army die. And he gets 3 movement versus my 4 eyes. So that's pretty cool. He plays a card first. Interesting. I'm not sure I see the thought process there. Maybe just not many options. But because he didn't move, I get to play Worn with Sorrow and Toil before he moves, which is pretty fun. He is safe, unfortunately, on 4 dice. Muster Sauron to war. And he moves. Okay. If you have Riders of Theoden, then you have a leader to go to Westamnet with a good use of some of these C dice without moving. I like that. Although I still think the move first before I play anything is better than even if you're going to do this. Of course, now you've effectively guaranteed Helm's Deep is not going to fall, or certainly not going to fall very easily. So that's actually good play. Good play, JZW. This might be why you're ranked higher than I am. And I go ahead and go from Gorgoroth to Moranon. So Barad-dûr moved to Gorgoroth earlier. I didn't explicitly say it. But an uneventful round, but some good setup on both sides. I draw Foul Thing from the Deep and Musterings of the Long-Planned War. So I have 4 good cards for hitting the Fellowship and a Deadly Strife. My hand is kind of stacked. I do throw Musterings of the Long-Planned War. Yep. This is going to be at least some of a corruption game. He draws Athelas and Eomer. My goodness, Rohan is going nowhere this game. I allocate 2 eyes as he goes into Moria. I guess I just really want him to be revealed so I can start emptying my hand. Still, it's a little wacky. I roll 1 more and no army movement. I still have no armies or hybrids on round 3 and only 2 army moves at all. Oh, geez. And he gets a great Gandhi roll. So that's sad. At least I have musters to bring Southrons and Easterlings to war. He goes ahead and gets Gandalf and Fangorn. Yeah, makes sense. So everybody's at war at least. That's nice. I think the musters there on the Southrons and Easterlings make sense, even though you could make an army in Moria to do something with. I'm not sure there's really benefit to that as opposed to Threatening Day Without Dawn in the future and Shadows moving, a few other things like that. He moves against 3 eyes. Can I get him into Moria? Nope, he's safe. So that's pretty annoying. I do a 3 regular muster with Saruman to set up for a Rage of Dunlending's play. I have Palantirs. I need to get cards out of my hand. This is interesting. He moves again. And I'm not sure I agree with that. It's 3 eyes. What rush are you in? Just bring the elves 1 from war, put Gondor 1 from war. Wouldn't that be a better use of these dice? Just make absolutely certain that I get no foothold in the military. I have yet to leave my starting regions. By round 3, Helm's Deep is fully defended. Just make me not able to win a military game. But you move instead, and it's a double hit for a 2 reveal. So I get the Moria tile. That'll be really important, and I still have 2 Palantirs. I think that in the end, this was a move that didn't pay off. Obviously, I'm glad I'm here for such scintillating content. He takes the 2 corruption, reveals through, and I get an eye with Moria, which is unfortunate. But he's now revealed at less than 3 corruption. I go ahead and Morgul wound him. So, the eye was disappointing. Would have loved a 3 there, but we're up a bit on corruption. He, of course, hides, and then I Foul Thing. I need to get cards out of my hand, and I draw a 3. So that's pretty good. Foul Thing must take a random, and it's Boromir. So, okay. Worn with Sorrow and Toil incoming. What did we get? Oh, tell me we got Athelas. Boy, these are hard to track. That was the... You would think staring at the cards and then counting which one disappeared. It's not Athelas. It was something that didn't strike me as mattering when I read it. All right. Okay. I've used some cards. The Fellowship is at 5 corruption, which is a pretty big improvement. They're at negative, 4 corruption effective at Dimril Dale. That's pretty good. We're starting to make some work out of it. He gets Mirror of Galadriel and Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombi, probably not going to do much. I get Orc Patrol and Orcs Multiplying again. So these are some excellent cards. I'm still in my starting position, so Orcs Multiplying again could be really good for going due line. Apologies if you hear my cat in the background. She's going absolutely nutsoid. All right. 1 eye allocated. Yeah, it's a corruption game, but I still want to make progress. Another eye rolled, and this is my first army dice of the whole game. And he almost Yahtzees Will of the West. Well, I'm not holding Day Without Dawn. Oh, jeez. So he starts with Athelas. I feel like you start with a move here just so I don't stack on you. But maybe you're wanting to have the capability of losing Aragorn or Strider if you need. But that's a good roll. So, yep, 3 corruption healed. I use one of my musters to get Orcs Multiplying again. Seems to make sense to me. Fellowship moves. Thankfully, they're hit, and it's a 3. So he randoms. I'm not sure. That's probably fine, even though with Worn with Sorrow and Toil up. Okay, Legolas was drawn. This time we'll actually make sure. So we prove the Swifter and Mirror, and I get we prove the Swifter. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he has enough Will of the West. He doesn't even need Mirror of Galadriel to get another Will of the West, right? I then play Muster for Rage of the Dunlendings. The elves aren't at war, and I can get a 6 stack. I have a Deadly Strife. I might be able to take a cheeky Rivendell. He moves the elves towards war. I use my first army move of the game, and he puts the elves to war. Surely it'd be better to pass here, right? I guess you're assuming that I don't have leadership in the army at Fords, so I can't put Rivendell under siege. So yeah, put the elves towards war. I Orc Patrol. Okay. I guess I just have some character dice that I don't know what to do with, and I still have several things to hit the Fellowship. I Orc Patrol into a 1, so he just takes it. Unfortunately, no reveal, so breaking can't be played here. I then moved to Parth Celebrant in anticipation of the Fellowship declaring into Parth Celebrant. And he musters into Lorien. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. I then put Lorien under siege, leaving a guy in Parth Celebrant for a theoretical reroll. I draw into Flocks and Threats and Promises. So I have drawn almost every single... Like, I'm drawing Fellowship hitting cards left and right. Like, it's not even close. What? maybe one of my character draws has been not a Fellowship hitter. He draws Smeagol, helps Nice Master, and Imrahil, so excellent draws for him, or, at least good enough. He does declare into Lorien. So, if you were free people here, what would you do? You're at effective -3 corruption, halfway to Mordor. The Shadow player has 0 points and none likely. Even my army of Lorien is minimal at best. You get to clear Worn with Sorrow and Toil. And you have Mirror of Gladriel. It seems to make sense. So, yep. Heal to 3 corruption. I allocate 1 eye. Finally roll no more and get only 1 army or hybrid. And you start off here by playing Mirror rather than mustering in Rivendell. Maybe you're just not scared of me? That feels... But you get another heal, for crying out loud. He's healed 5. I said 4 there, but 5 with the declare. Oh, jeez. So I do get my 1 army attack to put Rivendell under siege with only 2 elites. So a chance here, a chance. The Fellowship moves. I at least get my 1 reroll. Nothing happens. It's close, though. I play Phlox, because I've got 1 plan this game. If I have a chance, it is exactly and only corruption. He moves again. I think you got to make up the time, and it's only 1 eye. I do spend the Phlox, and it matters. I rolled a 4 when I was looking for a 5, so Phlox makes a difference. So that's nice. Nice to see that card do anything. And it's a 1 reveal, so a reveal's great for me. Get him out of Lorien. Not we don't actually want him out of Lorien, but oh well. Reveals are good. Spend his time. Get that 1 reveal gone before Gollum/Smeagol is in play. I'd go ahead and play Breaking. I need just corruption. I don't care if his guys are out on the map. I just need effective corruption. The hobbits are obviously able to soak Breaking of the Fellowship very efficiently, and they're even next to Fangorn, which is a great place for them to do it in. But I need corruption, but I draw a 0. So the 0 is out of the pool. They are 6 steps from Rivendell, and I have drawn 8 tiles. Oh, sorry. Not. That's the hunt pool. Oh, it happens to be 8 tiles. So I have drawn these 8 tiles. There are 3 eyes, 2 2s, and a 3. So there's a good amount of corruption left in the pool. A 1 and a 0. Of course, are less so problems. He hides with a hybrid. What are you saving the Palantir for? I guess you're going to overdraw, so hide with the hybrid and play the Palantir for something. I get the Witch King on top of Lorien. That makes sense. We have a little bit of an issue with the flipping the tiles. Okay. And then I make a terrible mistake. I move everyone to Lorien and on top of Eastonnet. What am I thinking? I'm not... part of what I was thinking is I assumed I had an Isengard regular in Lorien so I could play Devilry of Orthanc to cycle. That's wrong. I don't... And hitting Lorien right now is very, very risky. And as soon as he says pass, I'm like, shoot, this was a mistake. This is a very big mistake on my part in a tournament game. If it was a regular game, maybe it wouldn't have mattered. But I sit there and think for a minute, I'm like, what can I even do with these dice? I've just used up all my Nazgul onto Lorien, and I can't move any armies usefully with them. So I effectively lose that die and just shove all the Nazgul over to Rivendell. I got to make some risky plays to get to keep in it here if I'm in it at all. But I burned a dice there for no reason. He plays Smeagol helps Nice Master, and I hit Rivendell with a Deadly Strife. There's two. There's two more. So, a little bit of a luck out, I guess, against an advantageous position. But I wipe Rivendell in one and take 2 hits in return, which I don't care about. Draw into a Pits of Mordor / Desperate Battle. Maybe that'll matter. Desperate Battle is good at combat effect. The cycle is good if nothing else. So I get my first 2 points with a wipe on Rivendell. Whew. All right. We go into turn 6. Yes. I draw into Palantir of Orthanc and Ologhai. Good cards. Ologhai could quite possibly be near necessary in Lorien. He gets a Daylight and Hjorndark, so, yep, Rohan is so very safe. Fellowship okay, 1 eye allocated, 2 eyes rolled, and only 1 army movement. Okay, cool, fine. He begins, I have had 10 total army movement, counting hybrid, by round 6. That's counting characters. He moves the Fellowship, he is safe, and the Nazgul doesn't do his job. I move the regular onto the Fellowship in Eastham and Moranon out to Daggerlad. I mean, I guess, sure. That army should go somewhere at some point, I guess. He passes, and then I get some Nazgul. I guess I'm just looking for the capability to spread the entire area in the Emyn Wheels and Dead Marshes with Nazgul for rerolls. He moves again. Honestly, I think this is, again, a necessary move. Unnecessary. You're ahead of schedule. I mean, the second move will get you to sit in Minas Tirith if you're not revealed, which is pretty cool. But I have 3 dice with 2 rerolls for 5s. The likelihood I hit you is pretty high. And over half the stack is reveals, meaning you wouldn't be able to get into Minas Tirith. If you wanted to stop again. I don't know. I think another move here was completely unnecessary. Just find some other use for it. He is hit for 3. Come on, eye. It's an eye. So he gets a 3 reveal for his move there. Obviously, I am overjoyed to see that eye. It wasn't, very unlikely. It was 3 of the 8 tiles were eyes, so it was kind of likely, but I compliment my Nazgul, and he takes Strider. The shadow is going very slowly, and this is the best, it's an efficient taking of Strider. There's only 1 other 3 in the pool, so it's highly unlikely you're going to take him efficiently at any future point. I think that makes sense. I think that was a reasonable play. The Fellowship is then declared into Dead Marshes. Gimli takes over. I'm looking at my hand and looking. I obviously want to play Palantir of Orthanc with 3 Palantirs in hand, but he has a Will of the West that he will happily use to burn the Palantir, I imagine. So I spend a turn playing Pits of Mordor with a muster. Do I have all the Nazgul? Guess not. I decided to just get some units. Nope. I undo that. And I misclick clear the dice. I want to, quick shout out to JZW here. Technically, in the tournament rules, I cleared the dice. It is a valid play to use the dice for no effect. But he understands that it's obviously stupid. There's no world where I intend to do nothing with that dice. I just accidentally cleared it. So he lets me take the move back, and I play Ologhai. While that doesn't get to use the bonus efficiency of Palantir of Orthanc, I guess I just decided to not try and wait him out on the will. However, he uses it immediately to hide in the dead marshes. So in the Palantir of Orthanc goes. He chooses to not give me an Elven Ring, puts Gondor towards war, and I play Isildur's Bane. Before we get the whole fellowship, emptied. Sorry, that's the other one. And I draw 2. So, okay. So that's pretty good. In this pool, it was a pretty risky, 2 of the 7 were eyes. 1 was a 0, but, I get a 2. So the corruption's back up to 5. The effective corruption is 1. 2 steps from Mordor. And I draw Nazgul Strike. Good timing from the Palantir of Orthanc. Good timing. Might be able to reveal into Mordor. He plays the Red Arrow. Man, Rohan is so safe. You had nothing else you wanted to play here? You wanted to play Red Arrow over Eomer? Or over Imrahil? I personally would have played Imrahil. Just in case you ever get a turn where I Corsairs quickly while you weren't expecting it. Shield Wall is of minimal usefulness anywhere, and you have a daylight anyway. The scouts would be more useful in Osgiliath, which is like the only place I'm even threatening right now. Okay, and I get more Nazgul. All the Nazgul. You get Mithril Coat and Sting and Power 2 Great. Wow, great cards for right now. I get Grond and Horde from the East, so another Deadly Strife could be really important. Grond could be really important. And Fellowship is okay. So here we go. 2 eyes. I really want to find him. Yeah, I mean, my game rests solely on corruption. So I roll another, so it's 3 eyes, 2 wills and a character, so he has enough moves to make it, even with a hide. He burns the will immediately on killing the Palantir. Probably worth it. Yeah, probably worth it. I then, now that I have all the Nazgul, I shuffle them around so that I'm covering all efficient routes to Mordor. And I have an actual stack I'm willing to attack Lorien with now. I have Grond. I have a Deadly Strife. Whoa. Hopefully that doesn't break the replay. That was okay. Obviously, play Power 2 Great here. Makes total sense. Do I have an army? So I have Nazgul Strike, which I'd really rather not burn, and Grond, which maybe, but I have no army cards, so I can't even clear Power 2 Great. I move the Daggerlad army to North Ithilien. Don't leave a Nazgul behind, I guess. Weird. Okay. Far Harad to Near Harad. Moves the Fellowship. 3 eyes. Nope. I tease about should have moved that Nazgul. I now play Nazgul Strike. So this now that Lorien is turned off, I can shuffle a bunch of the Nazgul away to hit Osgiliath. I'd comment that I need just the red tiles left. Yeah, and I haven't drawn any of the red tiles, so all my stuff has been active that I've drawn or near enough. But the hunt misses. So that was a particularly poor piece of luck for me. I had 4 dice for 6s, then 4 dice for 5s, and none of them hit. Not very unlikely, but annoyingly unlikely. He's thinking. So what he's thinking is, does he move again? Now it would be another 4 dice for 5s. The likelihood of getting revealed into Mordor is pretty high. And you're pretty high on corruption. You're at effective 1 corruption. You can go very slowly, so you're going to use full use of Golem. But Smeagol, Gollum. But so from my point of view, I was sitting there like, you gotta move, man. There's no world where you don't move. I attack Osgiliath from the Witch King. Gondor goes to war. I get my 2 hits, so that's nice. Yeah, wouldn't a Scouts be better to have here? I move out because he's not going to declare. Even if he declares into Ithilien, I need every single army unit for even a chance in a military victory here. He puts Minas Tirith. Puts an elite in Minas Tirith. I put Minas Tirith under siege. And he says, really tough call. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a tougher call than I am realizing. I don't think it's tough. I think you move. I think you move every single day of the week. He thinks for a while. Yeah, and I say rushing cost me a die earlier. Yeah, it so did. I would love to have had another sea dice at several points. He chooses to move, which I think, as I've said, is the right call. He does get hit, and it's a reveal. The random goes to Gimli, so that's poor luck for him. Reveals into Minas Morgul, and I draw another 1 reveal, so obviously another Hobbit. I'm happy to get the 1 reveal out of the pile before Gollum. So that Lawn Pool was pretty picked over. I would have loved 1 more draw in there. But, pickers... poor woe is me. I only drew, 13, 12 tiles on the way to Mordor? And only 1 of them was an eye for no effect. I attack Minas Tirith, and my thought process here is, okay, he's declaring into Mordor. He's going to go as slow as possible. I have a very small hunt pool. I need the red tiles. I need every single red tile. I need to cycle the character cards very hard. So I cycle Grond against Valor. Interesting, I'd forgotten that happened. I get no hits, which actually I'm kind of glad about. He hits once. I stop draw. I draw into Lure of the Ring. So, good. Probably going to be just 1 corruption. It'll be 1 corruption, whether it's Pippin or a corruption. He draws in Horn of Gondor and Swords and Eriador. Not super great cards for him. And we go into the next round. I get Dreadful Spells, which is annoyingly not cyclable. And Hill Trolls, maybe that matters for like Lorien or something. Hunt pool gets updated. So let me just double check. Yep. So this is our hunt pool. 4 eyes, a 0, 2, 3, and a -1. Not great, but not terrible. I need those red tiles. Fellowship okay. 1 eye allocated. 2 eyes rolled. Another turn with low movement, and the game wants a dunk. So I'm glad I got the 3 eyes at least. Fellowship hides, which is obviously correct to do. I draw a card. I am desperate for those red tiles or even a character die or a character card that is cyclable. And I get Durin's Bane, which I can't use. I guess another thought is Hill Trolls might be a thing that's okay enough to use to clear Power 2 Great. With this hand showing, I probably throw Threats and Promises. Yep. Okay. Fellowship moves, and it is a eye for 3 reveal. So the best possible option for me. The Fellowship is not revealed. There we go. Okay. I play Lure of the Ring while I have a chance. So there's the 1 corruption. Fellowship hides again. So Fellowship is at 8 corruption, 2 steps of Mordor, and that's the pool. It's going to be a tight game. He doesn't have Bilbo Song. He hasn't had There's Another Way. He has Mithril Coat and Sting in hand. So that's going to get played, I assume, this round. I draw another character card. I'm just looking for anything to cycle, and that's something I can cycle. He draws into There's Another Way. Yep. So you use your Palantir for a draw. Sorry, I'm cycling around, clicking the wrong things. There's Another Way is excellent for you. You probably throw the Ents. Or Horn of Gondor. Yeah, you throw Horn of Gondor. Okay, cool. I attack Minas Tirith. My goal here is exclusively to cycle, so I cycle black captain commands against an advantageous position. I get a hit. He gets 2 back. I stop and draw. My goal is exclusively to cycle cards, and I get Shelob's Lair. He plays Mithril Coat and Sting, obviously. I put Shelob in the pool, and I get the mouth. So I think about where to put him. I think, the likelihood that Gandalf just suddenly pops into Minas Tirith and turns off my rerolls. Maybe it's nice to have him in Minas Morgul rather than in Moria. Of course, Gandalf could turn off my rerolls in Lorien too. Don't know. Don't know which decision was really worth my time there. Recover dice. He gets House of Stewards and Path of the Woes. Pretty trash cards for him, especially the fact that this character card is not a blue tile nor Bilbo's Song. I get Candles of Corpses, so it's a card that can do corruption, but it's the worst card that can do corruption. It's almost certainly going to do nothing. With this hand, I probably throw Pits of Mordor. Yep. I'm not playing. I don't actually want to win the military victory, or at least I'm not going to. I say, come on, game, don't let me down, because I'm going to allocate 1 eye. I need to roll some more. And I roll 3 more. I've rolled so many eyes this game. So stinking many eyes. I am +3 on eyes, which feels like it's so much more than that. And, And I'm still -5 on army, -4 on hybrid, -2 on character. I'm +6 on Palantirs. So, he rolls no movement. Yeah, let's do it. On the other hand, I actually don't like that he gets the Palantirs here, because he gets to dig super hard for blues and Bilbo's Song. Thankfully for him, there is another way. So he can use that. He draws first rather than playing There's Another Way. Surely you do that before I have a chance at a red tile. Draws The Eagles Are Coming. Throws House of Stewards. Sure, nothing. So what am I looking at? I'm saying I'm going to think a minute. I think what I'm looking at is I have Candles of Corpses, which I could use to cycle. It's my only cyclable character card. But it is a card that could do corruption. I think it's my last one. Part of what was going on here when I did these thinking for minutes is I had my physical deck of cards out, and I was looking at exactly which cards were left in the deck, and I went through the discards, and sort out to see which things were even in the character deck to look for, and how likely it was I was going to draw a Worm Tongue or something like that. Apologies. So that's what I was doing. I was thinking. I note that we're both +0 on 6s, +2 on 5s, so even dice. And it's felt maybe a little lucky on the hunt, but not crazy. I play Hill Trolls. Why do I play Hill Trolls? Just so I have more hit points to cycle in Minas Tirith. Okay. I don't hate that, although I'm throwing away a army die that could be used to army card that could be used to clear Power 2 Great. He draws into Bilbo's Song. So I assume the Eagles Are Coming is thrown. Path of the Woes is okay, same diff. The Heroic Death might be useful, so yeah, okay. Bilbo's Song is huge. I attack Minas Tirith. I'm cycling Candles of Corpses. I'm looking for red tiles. The red tiles are going to be so much better than Candles of Corpses. 3 dice for 6s, what? Something like an average of half corruption or something like that. I'd rather have the red tiles. So, and a Dread and Despair is really handy for... Sorry about that. My throat was a little gunky. Dread and Despair is awesome for cycling against Siege. I get 0 hits, which I'm actually okay with. He gets 0 back, which I'm great. I'm saving my 6s for Shelob. And I cycle into Cruel Weather. That's fine. It's a thing I can cycle with. He plays Bilbo's Song, which is great for him. Minas Tirith. Character card, cycle that Cruel Weather. I do get 1 billion hits, and by 1 billion I mean 4. So I take my hits, but I could press and kill it. Obviously, I'm looking for cycles. I stop, draw. There's Give It to Us. Red tile. Uses an Elven Ring to play There's Another Way. I don't know. You're only going to move once this round. Shouldn't you save this for a round where you theoretically want to move twice, or is that just not a consideration? You just have absolutely no intention of ever moving twice. Okay. He gets the move. Heals the corruption. So he's now at 5 corruption on step 2, which is a lot nicer. And it's an eye. So a 4 reveal out of this pool is obviously fantastic. Do you use Mithril Coat here? You give up your opportunity to remove a red tile later. What are you looking to draw? So 3 of these, the 2 eyes are effectively, are the exact same as what you have here. Shelob's even worse, probably. Possibly. It's comparable. The 3 no reveal is actually better for you here, although you'll end up revealing yourself on purpose anyway to soak the corruption. So it's a little better. So 3 tiles that are the same or worse, 2 tiles that are decent, and 2 tiles that are amazing. Not great odds with Mithril Coat, but a 4 reveal's awful. He thinks for a bit, I'm okay with that, and he decides to Mithril Coat. I think you probably got to take your chance. A 4 reveal here is just absolutely devastating. And I say, come on, Shelob. And I get the 0 reveal. So, worked out. Second best tile that could have been hit with that. Good for him. I put a red tile in. Yeah, he says still looking scary out there. The 2 reds with no Mithril Coat is now a big deal. The eyes maybe less so. We'll see how I draw. I say that's the end of the healing. Yeah, he's played Athelas, Bilbo's Song, There Is Another Way. I don't know of any other healing. He says, yeah, and then minus blue tiles, yeah. Yeah, he's done it all this game. So I burn Power 2 Great. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't have an army card. I flip the mouth to move armies because why not? Sure. He thinks. I say at least a good game and not a rollover. Yeah, with those first 4 or 5 rounds, this game could have been, and a couple less hits on the hunt. This game could have been an absolute just rollover game free for the free peoples. So he makes a regular in Pelargir and a leader in Dol Amroth. I mean, sure, you've got Prince Imrahil in hand. DA is going to be fine. I'd be tempted to put an elite in DA. This is fine. Let's not maybe stick on that. Pelargir from the south, no card. I get 1 hit. He gets 2 hits back. Cool. I take the point. I am up to 3 points. Yay! All right. I draw into Wormtongue, which is obviously a super annoying card, or super useless card, but it's cyclable, and I still have Minas Tirith to cycle on. So, here we go. Java, I ask for 3 to 4 eyes. He asks for no eyes. I allocate 1. I roll 2. We'll take it. And he rolls 4 Will of the West. And I still don't have Day Without Dawn. Come on. All right. He allocates. He uses it, and he as I'm typing, I say, at the risk of helping you, and I'm typing, and he moves, and I say, would you like to Elven Ring a W into something else? I was legitimately asking him, knowing that I had no Day Without Dawn. I wasn't trying to double think him there. I just wanted to make sure he knew he had the option. He's obviously an excellent player. I suspect he knew that well, knows that rule down, but maybe he forgot in the moment. He says here, oh, too late. So, okay, tournament game, and he's, turning it down, no problem for me. So, come on, Shelob. And it's the one red. I'll take it. No move happening. Yep, revealed. Great. I love it. Love it all day long. Cycle on Minas Tirith. Let's get it. No day without dawn, I say. Yep. Cycle. I, in fact, hit 0, which is actually really nice for me. I stop and draw. Yep. I get into draw Nazgul Search. That's fine. He hides. I cycle on Minas Tirith. Diggy through diggy hole through the deck. Cycle. I hit. Unfortunately, Minas Tirith, my little draw engine broke on me. I draw into Lidless Eye. Could be really important. It could be pretty important here that I make these eyes into damage if I ever don't roll more eyes. And Shadow is up to 5 points. 5 points. Dol Amroth looks unlikely. Helm's Deep is effectively an absolute no. But maybe something happens here. Draws into Elven Rope, so good for him. I draw with a Palantir into The Ring is Mine, so another red tile. I throw the Balrog. Oof. Wouldn't Stormcrow be better to throw here? I'm intending to hit Lorien someday. And saving a character card that I'm willing to... Yeah. What character card am I going to burn to kill Power 2 Great? Which I still can't do. I don't have an army card in hand. Wouldn't I want to kill Dreadful Spells? I'm not sure I agree with burning Balrog there. In fact, I'm fairly confident I don't. Also, why am I drawing? Oh, no, never mind. I know why I'm drawing. Ignore me. He passes. I play the red tile. Great. I think for a bit. I move armies. So, yep, I've got a stack in East Rune that can do something. And I'm moving to go take DA. A 5/6 with infinite leadership has a pretty strong possibility of doing something in DA, even if it gets Imrahiled. I Elven Ring my army into a Palantir to draw a character card. Holy buckets. I guess there's only one card left. It's the last red, I believe. Yep, it's the last red, so I guarantee drawing it next round. He plays Elven Rope. Okay. I leave a guy. Am I really scared of Path of the Woses? That doesn't even really protect against anything. Why am I leaving a guy in Lossarnach? I guess if I leave one guy there, one army dice would move to Druid and Forest and Asgiliath from Minas Tirith, blocking Path of the Woses. Okay. He draws into File. So he's got all his blue tiles? He's one short. I forget where that one went. I thought I saw it. Maybe not. Obviously not. What do you throw from him? Kindred? Right? Heck, you might throw the ends. I obviously draw the last red tile and a New Powers Rising. Yeah, Helm's Deep ain't fallen. I already have a great host in Stormcrow. He throws Deadmen. Yeah, okay. I throw Stormcrow, which is effectively a great host, and New Powers Rising, which is effectively a great host. Neither of them is an army card, but they were an army card I could have played to cycle. Don't know how I feel about that, because I do need an army card. One I allocated, one more roll, and a billion musters. I only have 2 armies showing, and I don't even have an Elven Ring. I have Ring Wraiths are abroad, so I have a cheeky, one more move. But even with that, I have only 3 attacks, and the mouth will give me 4. He rolls only 2 movement, so that's good for me. He gets the file in the pool. Probably a necessity for him. The downside for him is I get to, and he could have known this, that I have this unless I burned it. earlier, but you have to assume I have it, and I get my red tile in. So the 3 red tiles versus the 3 blue tiles. The game rests on which is drawn. I say we can take turns. I draw the Shelob, you draw the 0. I draw the red eye, you draw the 0. Seems fair and reasonable. Yeah, somehow I thought this other 0. Oh, the other 0's been hit already? No, I don't know. I don't know what happened to that. Come on, Shelob. It's Shelob. So that's obviously super important for me. A red tile is good. Yeah, yes. Okay. I roll a 2. On the low side, it would love a little bit more, but the stop is really what is important. He reveals to soak corruption. Yep. He says he lost a game to a Shelob 6. Oof. I feel like I reviewed his games, but I don't remember that, but okay, sure. I play Horde from the East for effect. Really? It does give me a full stack. Where am I planning to hit? He has no musters, so I can hit Woodland Realm. He hides. I make an elite in Orthanc. Why? Yeah, make an elite in Umbar. Someday I draw Corsairs. If I can't take Dol Amroth with what I have, that's where I'll want to reinforce from. I move out from East Rune to Vale of Karnan, and from Minas Morgul to North Ithilien. That's just a throwaway. I don't have any other half moves I actually care about. Cool. I flip the mouth to attack Dale, no card. I don't hit, which is unfortunate, and he hits, which is more unfortunate. He ring moves. Come on, Reds. It's the File. So between File and Shelob, he has healed one. Okay. That's bad. Woodland Realm gets under siege, so despite the elves being at war, and I leave nobody behind, allowing Dale to be retaken by the Free Peoples, even though they're not at war because no one is there. I guess I just assume I really desperately need the men. He draws a strategy card and gets King's Brand's men. That could actually be really annoying if he retakes Dale and then plays King Brand's men. Bleh. All right. But he's given me an Elven Ring, so I get to use that for Ringwraiths are abroad. Why am I putting a guy in Rivendell? I guess I've just given up on Dol Amroth? Really? Dol Amroth feels like not crazy. I haven't drawn Corsairs yet. I don't think I saw it go by earlier. Quick sec while I check the discarded cards. Yeah, Corsairs hasn't gone yet. Weird. All right. I cycle a strategy card. It's the Swarm of Bats, which is a great use here. Cancel out the Daylight. Get 2 hits. 1 back. Obviously press. I draw into Shadow is Moving. No card. The North goes to war because of the man. He plays King Brand's men. I get my hit. Shield Wall. Yeah. Why didn't I leave a guy behind? Boy, that feels super risky for no reason. Really wish I had left a guy behind. All right. I draw into many kings, which is great because it's a guaranteed great host in Woodland Realm. And we have a game on our hands. Not that we didn't already. And that is my only draw because I've tapped out the character deck. Has he drawn? Yeah, okay. He draws Grimbjorn and They're back again. Not great cards for him. He's, of course, looking for Celeborns. Thranduils. Does he have elves left? He does, plenty. So, here's where we're at. I have effectively won Woodland Realm, but I need a dice to do it. To actually take it. Because I can then play Great Host, auto win the battle, and cycle. I have Shadow is moving and Lidless Eye or Dreadful Spells, so I can clear Power to Great, pop over, and try and take that battle. It is 7 hit points to 11. I would have all the Nazgul if I roll a character. And then I would have whatever Great Host cycles into for combat cards. It'd be tight, but it could be done. Or instead, I can win Woodland Realm and then try and take Dol Amroth. Círdan's Ships is still in play as far as I'm concerned, as is Prince Imrahil, and I don't have Corsairs inherently. So it'd take 1, 2, 3 dice to make that happen if I take it in 1. As opposed to 1 to clear Power to Great, 2 to move the Nazgul over there, and 3 to hit that battle. I think Dol Amroth is the stronger play here, especially with only 9 strategy cards left. The possibility of drawing into Corsairs for a reinforcement and attack. So that's what I think. I allocate 1 eye, roll 2 more. I'm actually pretty low on attacks, and he has infinite movement. So I only have 4 attacks showing. I have the Shadow is moving, which is move exclusively, and 3 Palantirs. Tough ending. So I have enough to end it if I win in 1. I say it's my turn for a red tile. He says it's time for a standard tile. I say an eye. Sure, yeah, okay. And it's an eye. A 3 reveal. I desperately needed it. Yeah, okay. 3. So he's got the hide, and then he's got to move. I say only the red stop, and I move the Palantir here with the intent of playing Lidless Eye, and like, wait a minute. Oh, okay, no. Now that the blue action die is in here, all the eyes are death. So the eyes kill him. The red 3 I'm going to count as a death, even though it's not. So 4 of the 8 tiles are death. It's a 50-50. Okay. So I have to force him to move now, because next round it's unlikely fairly unlikely I roll 2 more eyes. So then the eyes would stop being deadly. At least the 2 beige ones. So I need to pressure him as much as possible. I attack Woodland Realm, cycle the Great Host, get my hit I really kill him, draw into Shadows in the Misty Mountains. Onslaught could be good. Here I think he made a mistake. I have no corrupting cards. All of them have been played. I never burned anything that could have corrupted. I never discarded anything that could have corrupted. You do not need to hide here. You have a hybrid. You should retake Dale. And force me to use one of my attacks in Dale. With that one old Forest Road guy. I think that is a pretty important mistake here. He there and back again, which to put Gandalf in Dol Amroth, which is obviously good if I go for Dol Amroth. But that card does not do that, so we undo all of that. Okay. There was a weird thing. Okay, we're all good. Really tough choices. Conceding is hard, but I accept. He hides. I wonder if he got a little flustered by the possible card mistake. But what this allows me to do is spend a Palantir, and I let him have it. I should be using Palantir to play Shadows moving to protect Dale, then use my... Do I even have enough attacks? No, if I move my Nazgul, I don't have enough attacks to take Dol Amroth. Unless he gives him an Elven Ring, which he obviously won't. So I draw a strategy card. Weird. Okay, he passes. Again, I think he should retake Dale. I then get the capability of Shadow is moving. I move 4 things that don't matter. I like threaten Edoras, which whatever. He passes. And now I get to clear Power 2 Great using Lidless Eye and Day Without Dawn. I probably should have kept Lidless Eye rather than Dreadful Spells, although the thought process was maybe I get a very final Dreadful Spells to kill the last like couple guys, maybe. He manually moves Gandalf towards the south. Okay, sure. I don't think there's any, plus or minus there to burning that dice effectively. And I shove everything on DeLorean. I stick a couple guys in Pelargir because theoretically Dol Amroth might matter next round. It won't, but And I have an Onslaught and a Devilry of Orthanc with no Isengard units, a 7-2-8 versus a 1-3-1 with 2 attacks because I haven't used the mouth yet. He retreats from Fords of Isen and threatens Dol Guldur. Sure. For a fair amount of the marbles, I attack Lorien. I play my Onslaught. I have no intention of using it. This is a cycle. I hit twice. He hits once. That's an excellent start. I stop and draw. And I get Desperate Battle. Possibly the best card, maybe other than a Deadly Strife that I could hope to draw here. And now the question. He has a pure 50-50 on the mountain. The eyes kill him, and the red tile we're going to call killing him. It doesn't, but it's bad. It would make him 2 corruption, which probably gives him like a 60% chance next round, 70. I will win next round militarily if he does not move. He has 1 Elven Ring, so he has a guaranteed move next round, so there's no worry about that. It's a little bit better than a 50-50. Somewhere in the 60% chance for him to win. I have 1 attack showing, 1 character, and 1, which if you counted very carefully, you might be able to flat figure out that that's either the Balrog or Dreadful Spells. And the fact that I didn't... And you could be very scared of Balrog. I discarded Balrog. What do you have? You have a Brave Stand that does nothing. A Scouts does nothing. A Horn Dark does nothing. So you have Shield Wall and Confusion. That's it. Versus a 6-2-8. A 3-1-1 versus a 6-2-8. And this hunt pool. All right. For my tournament life. He moves. And the move is good luck. Either way, GG. And what's happening here is I'm just purposefully waiting 20 seconds, 10 seconds, be like, so how's life, rather than drawing the tile. I draw an eye. I draw an eye, corrupt Frodo at exactly 12. And I win the game. I get to go on to a tiebreak game in the round of 32, turn 12. I mathed it out afterwards. The Fellowship healed for 10 corruption this game. 10. Holy buckets, and I still corrupted them. I hit almost everything. And the Hunt to Mordor was good, but not crazy good. He didn't hit his -1. And he healed only once in Lorien, but he got the Mirror of Galadriel heal. He had very few other heals he could have done. He took Gandalf for a 1 rather than a 3, and Gimli fell to a 1, I believe. But everything else was purely efficient. Oh, geez. So, for all of you, I was sweating pretty hard. I was very excited. He says I should have mustered in Woodland Realm and used a ring to muster in Woodland Realm. I hadn't thought about that. Quite possibly. I ask if he wants to play out for the Lorien fight, so we do. So here's what would have happened in the Lorien fight for all of you who are curious. And just do a quick check on stats. Yep. Stats are thoroughly reasonable. We're both -1 on 6s. I'm a little high on 5s, but that doesn't matter and hasn't really mattered. All right. I do my Desperate Battle versus his Confusion. I roll a 6. I overroll my reroll, but that's all right. The extra would have missed. So I deal 2, and he deals 5 back. Oh, no. So, okay. I press because I have to. I redraw into half orcs, so no cards. He shield walls, and I don't get it. So I wouldn't have won the battle. Now, Lorien getting 4 hits with a bonus from the Confusion, you can't rely on that. But and I didn't have Balrog. I burned it earlier when I should have probably burned Dreadful Spells. But on the other hand, I had a Desperate Battle draw into no card when a Deadly Strife was still available. So, meh. That's the game. Thank you all for watching. It's been a little bit, we're a little over an hour. We're doing all right. So, thank you all for watching. The next tournament game will be a little bit for me, so I'll probably post, for scheduling reasons, we're not going to play it for a little bit yet. I will probably post a different video in between before that happens, but stick around and we'll see if I'm able to advance into the round of 16. Thank you so very much to JZW for this game, being a good sport, and for letting me cast it, and I'll see you all in the next one.